Hi everyone, welcome back to another live. I am super excited to be discussing this topic with you today because it's a little bit different from the usual tactical topics that I tackle. There's still some tactics and tips which I assure you are golden. However, this live is somewhat different to what I usually do, and you will understand why very soon. So the topic for today is how Neil and I discovered batch cooking and how we discovered that we could make 10 lunches, that's 2 weeks worth of lunches for work, in under an hour. Yes, you heard that right. And how it changed our life and started us off on this amazing journey where we save so much time that we've designed the life that we want today. So I'm going to take you back 10 years, which is quite a while. And I'm very excited to share the details. So my name is Nakita and I run the Mama Manual blog and social media pages. And I love helping busy moms just like you empower themselves, take control of their time so that they can live a life that they truly love. So hello there to everyone. I'd love to get some hellos and some emojis. And since the topic for today is batch cooking mainly, I would like to ask, do you need to learn this? And if you need or you would like to venture into learning how to batch cook, I'd like to get a yes in the comments, please. So go on right there, and if you'd love to master the skill of batch cooking, please type yes. And if you've been trying but you've been struggling, or if there's something in particular that's been worrying you or you're not sure about, and you'd love to venture into batch cooking but you're not quite sure where you should start, please share your struggles and I'll get back to you and we'll discuss together throughout this live. So before I kick off this live, I'm just going to say what it's about again because I can see the numbers growing very quickly. The live for today, the topic is about how Neil and I, Neil is my husband, I'm sure most of you know, how we discovered batch cooking and freezing, and how we taught ourselves and how we came to realize that we could cook 2 weeks worth of lunches in just under an hour. Yes, this is possible, and I'm going to teach you how. So if you want to learn how to batch cook, if you'd like to learn, I want to get a yes right now. I didn't know this was a thing, so I'm just going to go through the whole process with you all. I'm just going to say hello to a couple of people and see who's here with us. So hi Angelica, hi Antonella, hi Annie. Thank you, Annie. Yes, I just got a fresh trim today and my hair color looks amazing as well. Thank you to Sarah from Lavish Hairdressing. Hi Antonella, hi Annie, Melanie. I can see lots of yeses as well. Hi Charlene, hi Nolene. I know you've been using my latest resource really well. I can say you've been the person I think who's been using it the most because I've been getting so many messages from you and I love it when I create something for you and it's used how it should be used. So that's super amazing. So hi Maronia, thank you. More compliments about my hair. I'm feeling good today. Hi Angie. Hi Rachel. Hi from Belgium. Hello there. Lovely to have you here with us. Hi Suzanne. Hi Charlene. Wow. Hello Kylie and Trudy. Okay. So the topic is batch cooking and freezing. And before we kick this off and before I get into the strategies, I just need a sip of water. I'm very excited about this today because I'm going to tell you how this live came about. So about 3 weeks ago or a month ago, I was giving a presentation and a talk to a group of women who are business owners or who are interested in owning their own business. And someone from the crowd, who's actually a friend of mine and we met online, told me that I should share more of what I shared during this talk. Now, during the talk, besides sharing the tactics, I also spoke about my past. And I spoke about my transformation and my before. So the person I was before, I was completely different to what I am today. And she said, listen, if you share more about your backstory, I'm sure that a lot of moms who don't know you, because she didn't know this about me as well, will be able to relate better. So I thought, yes, I think this would be a good idea. So just to give you an idea, 10 years ago, I had no idea that time management strategies even existed. I was chasing my own tail most of the time. I was disorganized. I was a bit lazy as well because I'm being very honest here. I think for the most part, I owed my laziness to the fact that I didn't know I could manage my time better. So every day was like a drag. It's like following the same routine over and over again, and you never get anywhere. So I've been there, I know, and these moments do come back sometimes as well, because we all have our ups and downs after all. And also, I didn't know any of the skills that I know today, so I'm completely self-taught. I used to cook every day. I didn't have any organization strategies. I didn't plan ahead. I used to forget things. Well, I still forget, but I use my calendar a lot, so that's where it comes in handy. So I help myself where I struggle as well. I didn't meal plan, and I was very different because, of course, being so disorganized and not planning even half as much made me stressed out. Yes, I was more stressed out. I was stressed out because I couldn't keep up. I was stressed out because I was thinking like, what the heck, is this it? I'm just doing the same things over and over. Then the weekend comes, I need to cram in all the housework and some cooking and organizing the house instead of enjoying my family and some quality time. And I didn't know what me time was at that time as well, because I had no time for it. And by the time I was done with my things, and mind you, I didn't even manage to do half the things that I do today. I used to be so exhausted, I used to go straight to bed and wake up and I'll just repeat the same thing over and over. Now, the reason that I do what I do today is because I went through such a complete transformation. My life changed, honestly, because once I took control of my time and once I discovered strategies which helped me manage my time better and which freed up hours throughout my day, I could then own my life. I could design the life that I wanted. I was more relaxed. I was happier, more joyful. I practiced gratitude every day. I had more time for myself, more time for my family. So the reason I do what I do and the reason why I decided to write the book, which was the first step towards this journey and where I am today, is because I want other moms just like you to experience the same transformation that I did, because it's been such a life changer. It's been such a game changer. I'm so much happier. I couldn't help but want the same thing for each and every one of you that's watching out there, and also for other moms that I haven't managed to connect with yet, but I'm hoping to connect with pretty soon, because life can be so much better. So this is the reason why I do what I do. And after this friend of mine brought this to my attention and she said, listen, you should really share your backstory and you should share where you came from, I realized that yes, if I can share this, because probably most of you think that I was organized all my life. So most of you probably think that I've been like a time management expert ever since the day I was born. Most of you probably think that I've had this sussed out all my life, but in reality, it is the complete opposite. So I'm really glad that this lady spoke to me, because I am so happy I can share my story, because I really hope that if there are a couple of moms out there who are discouraged, who are chasing time all the time, who are trying to juggle and just dropping the ball all the time, who aren't living the life that they want to live, I hope that I can encourage you that you can change your life around. You are in control. This is your life. You can decide what you'd like to do with your time. You can say no. You can use tactics, mindsets to change your life around, and I promise it will make a huge difference, because I've been there and I know where I am right now. So if there's any way that I can help you, you know that I come up with freebies and things like PDFs and resources and spreadsheets, and I try to share all the tips that I can imagine. And maybe this is the thing that I haven't shared so far, my story, which I hope will be of huge help to you. But if there's anything at all that you feel that I can give you, that I can help you with, please do comment here. Also, if you don't feel comfortable commenting, you can drop me an email anytime. My email is Nakita, Nakita, @themamamanual.com. You can find me on Instagram at @the_mama_manual. You can drop me a message right here on Facebook at the Mama Manual, right here where you're watching this video. I'm very sorry if I've missed any messages because I try to get to each and every one. So if you realize I don't get back to you, just remind me, please, because sometimes maybe some might slip. But please, I'm here to support you. And this is what I'm doing right now. You are my priority. So do get in touch with me. If there's anything you need help with at all, tactics, time management strategies, if it's help with the cooking, with batch cooking, with freezing, anything at all, please do let me know. I think that's about enough about my story. And just another sip of water because before we get cracking with our topic and how we discovered we could batch cook and cook 2 weeks worth of lunches in just under an hour. By the way, one final thing. I'd love for this to be a two-way conversation. So if there's anything you'd like to ask, just go ahead and do so. Anything you'd like to discuss, any comments, please just go ahead. I'd love to be able to chat with you. So I'm going to go back to our before. The cooking aspect now. So before, we used to cook every day. So breakfast, lunches, dinner, snacks, of course, well, a lot of our meals used to be a little healthier, a little less healthier than they are today, even the snacks. So we used to end up resorting to something very quick, which is most often something unhealthy. And before you're quick to jump to any conclusions, I don't see anything wrong with eating anything unhealthy most of the time, some of the time. As long as you're happy with the way you're eating and as long as you don't feel guilty, then it's completely fine. But I was feeling bad about the fact that a lot of I'm hungry requests were leading to a quick slice of bread or 2 slices of bread most of the time. You know, it's not like it's a one-off or I feel like it and I'm perfectly fine with my decision. So I used to be hungry and I used to grab the first thing that I used to see. Now we practice balance most of the time. So yes, while I do like my bread, I'm a carb lover, so I do have bread. And while I do like the occasional, I don't know, pizza, burger or whatever, we balance and I eat these types of foods because I've made a decision to, not because I'm in a rush and I have no time to cook anything and I resort to them, which again is fine if you do it sometimes. If you're happy with it, that's fine. So before, I used to cook every day, and if any of you do cook every single day, you know how much time this can take. So it was very tiring. My day was mostly filled with cooking because, you know, a quick breakfast in the morning, and you need to prepare lunches for everyone, and then it's dinner, and then it's some snack, and you know how it is with kids. My kids always snacked a lot, so by the time I'm finished with preparing a snack, it's time for another one. So it used to be crazy mad with the cooking. And also, at the time I used to work till 5:30 p.m. There was a time, because I got my license very late, where I didn't used to drive as well, so I used to get home really late. And then of course, I'd have to do the cooking, and then during the weekend, I'd have to scramble to get the rest of the stuff together, and I would feel completely unmotivated to do anything else at all. And that was basically the story of our lives. I'm just going to say hello to a couple more people. So hi to Evichka and Trudy and Graziella. And Dorian says, I would love to learn how, but my concern is that boxes take a lot of space. Now, Dorian, I'm assuming that you are referring to containers which you stash inside your freezer for batch cooking. Am I right? If this is the case, you should go to my last Facebook Live because I spoke about freezing using freezer bags. Now, if you have a small half fridge or 3/4 fridge and 3 drawers of a freezer, in one drawer you can fit at least 10 meals. Let's say 8 to 10 meals. I managed to fit in 10. And we're a family of 4 and we're quite big eaters. So if you'd like to go back to that live, you can either go down and scroll down in this Facebook group, or I can send you a link to my YouTube channel, and there's the video over there as well. So you don't need to use boxes. Freezer bags take lots less space up, and even if you're using them, of course, for the fridge, you can also store in the fridge with them. So it's a win-win, really. So hi to Silvana, hi Sarah, hi Colette, Rosette, Amanda, hi Janice, hi Doreen, hi Claire. I love it that from week to week I see a lot of familiar faces. So I know that a lot of you are coming back each and every week, and I absolutely adore that. So thank you. So hi to Cherise. And Bernice says, on Sunday, I always plan my week on a weekly planner appointments, what I'm going to cook, house cleaning, arranging drawers, errands, etc. I sometimes don't manage to catch up on everything and I end up feeling frustrated. Does it happen to you? The thing is that I feel guilty and I hate postponing things. Okay, Bernice, well, I do have a couple of tips for you. First of all, I'm a perfectionist, so I can kind of understand what I'm about, what you will feel. The first instinct you will get when I say this. Don't aim for perfection, aim for good enough. I know it's hard maybe to digest because you sound like you are a perfectionist yourself. But the thing with perfectionism is that you're never happy. So you end up always striving for better. And while, yes, there's always better, it's better to just aim for good enough. Because when you aim for good enough, you're happier. And you're happier faster. And you feel a certain joy that perfectionism will almost never give you, especially if you have kids. What's perfect? Perfection, something perfect for me is when I tidy up the house in the evening when the kids are asleep, and by 8:05 a.m. in the morning, it's back to a war zone. So I would aim for good enough and not perfect. And also, it sounds like maybe you're cramming too much into your planner. So I'm not one to maybe cram so much into my planner. I have like my routines, but when I have specific to-dos, I don't like having a to-do list, because when you have a to-do list, and it's a long one especially, you end up giving up, because it's quite overwhelming to look at a list of 20 things, especially when maybe 5 of those things you can say no to. And this you should realize, and you should look at your list and you should say, do I really need to do all of these things? Can I say no to something? Can I ask someone else to do it? Is it really important? Can it be done at another time? And if you're listing things on your to-do lists which are non-specific and very broad, for example, let's say I would like to paint the house, and I write on my to-do list, paint the house. How do you think that makes me feel? If I look at that, paint the house, I am overwhelmed right off the bat. So instead, what I like to do is I like to break down the bigger tasks into smaller segments. So if I want to paint the house, step 1 is decide what color I'd like to paint the house. Step 2 is ask my husband, because I'm crap at something like this, to measure. He's an architect. I'm nowhere near as good at these things as he is. So I'd ask him to measure, to kind of give me a number which I can go to the paint shop with, unless he's coming with me, of course, or doing it himself. Most probably it will be the latter, but or we might go together, because I'd like to have a look at the actual color as well. Bit of a control freak here too. So first I'd decide on the color, then I'd get the measurements that I need, and then I'd go to the shop. And then, there's a process. So I wouldn't say paint the house on my to-do list. I'd list just step 1. And actually, I'd assign it to a particular date, exactly as you're doing. But be careful that you are not listing any overwhelming tasks, which are so broad that they've got 100 things to do. And unless you break them down, they won't be done. And make sure that the things that are in your list are actually things that you want to do, that you can do, and that you cannot postpone, that you really need to do. And something else, there are things which you can do, there are things which you can automate. For example, I automate I don't sweep the floors, I have my robot, so that's something that's automated, I don't do it anymore. There are things which you can do faster, because you can either change the time of day when you're doing them, or you can do them online, or you can get stuff delivered. And there are strategies, time management strategies, so we can do them faster. So for example, if you're, you're thinking about the cooking, maybe right now it's taking you an hour, but you could do that in 15 minutes, for example. So what I'd suggest is, if you've got the book, dive into it and read it and go through the chapters, because it dives into different topics and it tackles how to manage your time better and how to save time in different topics throughout your life and your lifestyle and way inside the home, cooking, relationships and everything. and catch up on my lives, try to hop into the blog more often and ask away as well, because I'm sure that there are things that you can do faster and more efficiently. So that is my rather long piece of advice to you. So hi Fiona, hi Sephora, hi Antonella and Roslyn and Evichka and Jessica, Susan. Okay, I see that there are a lot of questions as well. So let me just go on with the topic and I will get to the questions later, and anything which I won't manage to answer during this live, I will answer later on in the comments box. So let me just go into detail about what an ideal day looked like for us before from the cooking aspect. So I used to wake up in the morning earlier than everyone else, which is something that I still do. And I used to go and have a shower and get ready. And then I used to wake everyone up. At that time, it was 3 of us, 10 years ago. Nina wasn't born yet, she's only 4. And I used to rush to the kitchen, make a very quick breakfast. Everyone would come, we'd literally gobble it. We'd literally gobble it up because we'd need to get out of the house. And I'd probably leave behind a bit of a mess as well, because I was most probably late. Yes, you heard that right, I'm never late today, but as I've told you before, my time management skills were non-existent. And then we'd rush off. So I would take Yannick to my dad's and to my mom's, and my dads would take him to school, and Neil would go to work, and Yannick, I'd take Yannick. I'm confusing Yannick with Nina at the moment. So Yannick would anyway go to school. So I'd go to work, full on day at the office, not think about home, just give a quick call, to check on Yannick when he's back at my mom's. You all know what this feels like. And just continue working, focusing on my work. And then when I'm finished from work, in the car, I used to start thinking, okay, what am I going to cook? What am I going to cook today? No ideas come to my head. Pick up Yannick, still thinking what I'm going to cook. And then all of a sudden I get this idea, okay, I'm going to cook this. But of course, I wouldn't have any idea what ingredients I have in my kitchen. And if I had anything missing, so I'd make a stop at the supermarket. And we used to live in Aura back in the day. And Aura is crazy mad with traffic and cars. So I used to park. Parking used to take around about 5 to 10 minutes. I used to park close to the supermarket that I used to shop at. And then I used to carry an unwilling kid to the supermarket, and Yannick would want to buy half of the shop. You know how it is with children. Mommy, buy me this, buy me that, get me this, get me that. Running around the supermarket, trying to find all the things that I wanted, trying to keep him under control. And finally, after about 30 long minutes later, I'd get to the checkout line. Completely exasperated, exhausted, frustrated, stressed out. Pay for my stuff, carry my bag and my child, because of course he doesn't want to walk now, so I'm carrying my bags and my child on one hip, rushing to the car, back to our house, trying to park again, carrying my child who's asleep by this time because he's more exhausted than I am, so sleeping child, laptop bag, handbag, school bag, shopping bag to the car, from the car to the house, go back in. Yannick would wake up, start crying. Of course, he'd want my attention. I'm at my wit's end. I want to cook because it's soon dinner time. Neil is coming home soon. I've got nothing prepared. The house is a mess. My child is crying. He's tugging onto my legs. He wants me to play with him, but I need to cook. So I'm trying to cook. Leave the chicken out on the counter. Go back to playing. Try and cook again. Burn something. Realize that I've got something missing and that I've bought yet another bottle of dried oregano. I have 6 of them now. And I'm so frustrated, so stressed out. I end up yelling. I feel guilty. Neil comes home. The kitchen is a mess. Dinner is not ready. I'm sure you can relate to this. It was hard. I remember thinking to myself, there must be a better way to do this. I was so sad. I was so angry at myself, so guilty. And then we'd sit down for dinner. I'd be in a bad mood. Everyone would be in a bad mood because if mom's not happy, no one's happy. And we'd eat quickly. I'd get off the table very quickly. Everyone's still trying to have dinner. And sorry, I'm looking at my watch, but the kids are at the swimming lesson. And this is, it's quite intense today. So it's taking a bit more time than the usual. And then we're having dinner and we're finished and I'm trying to clean the plates. I'd leave the plates over there because Yannick wants my attention. I'm trying to play with Yannick, but my brain and my mind is all over the place. So I'm not present. I haven't been present. I've only been present when I was working. That's the only time of day when I was present. The rest of the time, I've just been everywhere, but in the moment. So while I'm trying to cook, I'm trying to keep up with my son. And while I'm trying to play with Yannick, I'm thinking of dinner. And during dinner time, I'm thinking of what a bad mom I am. And then I'm trying to play with my son, but I'm thinking of the messy kitchen and the bags which are lying everywhere because I haven't had time to clear them. So it's bath time, and Neil takes Yannick for a bath so I can try and get the kitchen sorted. I managed to make it look half decent, and I still have to make lunches. So it's past Yannick's dinner time, but we managed to get him to bed. I make lunches, Neil tries to lend a hand, and we're both so tired, we don't have time for quality time. Everywhere is still looking like a disaster, like a complete war zone, but it's time to go to bed because we need to wake up early the next day. So we jump into the shower and just sleep, and that's it, and repeat. And then during the weekend, we'd usually wake up late, even though we need to wake up early. We're so tired and we're so sick of it all, you know, we're just dragging our feet. So we wake up late, and then we're angry at ourselves for waking up late, because when we look at the state of the house and at our to-do list, which is never ending, and we can never keep up with it, we end up feeling angry at ourselves, snapping at each other, fighting, feeling guilty about all of it, and repeat. Absolutely no time to spend time together. We'd try to make some time for each other on the Sunday, but we're not present either, because we've got such a lot of things going on that we just, mentally, we're just not there. So that's where we were. And I know that a lot of moms do struggle with this. Maybe you can relate to the whole process. You might relate to a part of it. You might be relating to it because you might be going through a difficult stage in your life right now, or you might just have had a baby and you need to get to terms with your new routine and with your new lifestyle. So that's exactly where I was, and I can completely understand the overwhelm, the stress, the anger, the guilt, all of it. So let me go to a happier place right now. Okay, I'm just going to start going into when we discovered the life-changing process of batch cooking. So one day we decided to make chicken wraps for lunch. And I remember telling Neil, oh my goodness, we're so busy tomorrow that we won't have time to make lunch. So instead of making lunch for the Thursday and the Friday, why don't we make lunch for 2 days? Let's make 4 chicken wraps instead of 2. And just pop them in the fridge. And we thought to ourselves, well, yeah, I guess that makes sense, you know, pretty simple. Just we keep stuff in the fridge. So I expect it will be fine. No clue at all about batch cooking over here. So we decided to give it a shot. So we made 4 chicken wraps, put them in the fridge, and the next day, of course, we took 1 each to work. And come evening time, we realized that both of us had something going on during lunchtime, last minute change of plans, and we wouldn't eat our wraps. So we were already very happy. It was a big win that we didn't have to prepare lunch for the next day. But we thought, oh no, we're not going to eat this lunch because we've got other lunch plans, which is when I thought, shall we try and put the wraps in the freezer instead? And we really thought about this. I laugh thinking about it now because we've learned so much. We've come such a long way since then. But at that time, we were confused. We were thinking, but will the taste change? Will the texture change? Will it taste good? Will it go bad? Should we do this? And I remember saying to Neil, I said, listen, let's try it out. Let's just pop them in the freezer. And the worst case scenario, you know, it all goes wrong, we'll have to pop out from the office and buy ourselves lunch. But it's worth a try because I never used to like wasting food. So some way or another, that food used to get consumed. And it felt so good not to prepare lunches for 2 days, by the way. It It felt like we did something completely out of this world. And anyway, on we went to freeze our wraps. So we took the wraps. I remember we put them in foil and we just popped them into the freezer. And the next day, we each took one out and we took them with us to work, popped them in the fridge at work. And when it was lunchtime, we took the wraps out of the foil and we popped them into the toaster. But what happened? Two things. The first thing was that they were very soggy. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I can live with this, but they weren't looking exactly as I wanted, but it was fine. They seemed to be edible. And the second thing was that the foil kind of got stuck to the chicken and the juices were coming out of the wrap as well. So it was a bit of a soggy mess and I was trying to peel off the foil, but I said, okay, listen, this was worth a try. Let's just remove the foil, put them into the toaster, and then I had a grand old time cleaning up after me. But the taste was good, so I had to eat with a fork and a knife because it did get very messy. But I still felt like it was a win for us. The fact that we didn't cook. Actually, I'll just take a step back. We took these to work on the Monday because on the Friday we had something for lunch. So we took these out on the Monday anyway. That's why I put them in the freezer and not the fridge, and we took them with us to work. So I felt like this was a huge achievement because yes, we did end up with soggy wraps, liquidy, water coming out, but we didn't cook for that day's lunch. So I felt so relieved because that was 30 to 45 minutes less the evening before. So I started to think and brainstorm, how can I do it better? And I thought, okay, so let's tackle the first problem. I need less liquid. Definitely, liquid is a problem because when you're freezing and then you're defrosting, all the liquid is just coming out. So I thought, okay, so next time I'll make wraps again, but I'll use something which has less liquid. Oh, and I forgot to mention something else as well. The wraps that I made, because they were not intended to be heated up or to be frozen, had salad inside of them. So salad isn't the ideal filling to be heated up. So I thought to myself, no liquid, and instead of veg, instead of salad, I will use veg, which is perfectly fine to be frozen and to be heated up. And something else which I realized, the foil was sticking to the wrap because of course it was soggy. But besides that, I thought to myself, okay, I think it's not only the liquid that's making it soggy. I thought that possibly the wraps couldn't breathe and they were soggy as well as a result of condensation. So I said to myself, I can use baking paper instead. So that's what I did. Next time around, I made another recipe for the wraps. I remember not using any liquid, so I did not add like any sauces. I just kind of dry fried my ingredients. I added veg instead of salad. And I remember I used spinach as greens instead of rucola because I used rucola, rocket leaves. So I used spinach instead. And I just wrapped the wraps in baking paper. And I made another 4, popped them in the freezer. And I remember getting a call from my husband and he was like, oh my goodness, these wraps are perfect. You've just cracked the code to not preparing lunches every day. And that was one of the life-changing moments that I've had throughout this journey. And after that worked, we sat down again one evening and we said, listen, this has worked. We know that the freezer can take foods which can be stored for longer times than a couple, like 2 to 3 days. So let's try and cook 2 weeks worth of lunches. And I was like, no. He's like, yes, let's do it. We were both so excited about trying this and the prospect of not making these darn lunches every single day again and again that we thought we'd try it out. So we repeated the same process. And in actual fact, when you're batch cooking, because imagine we were making these chicken wraps, I remember. with onion, garlic, spinach, parmesan, and I can't remember the ingredients exactly, but all the ingredients that we prepared, we made 20 wraps, okay, instead of 2. However, it wouldn't take us 10 times as much to prepare 20 wraps. It would take maybe, let's say, instead of preparing 2 wraps in half an hour, because in between the cooking and the cleaning and the preparing of the ingredients and the closing the wraps and cooling and freezing, it used to take about 30 minutes, but it definitely wouldn't take all that much longer to prepare, because you can use the food processor to chop faster. If you're cooking 2 weeks worth of lunches, why not? You can cook them in a larger, you can cook the chicken and all the ingredients in a larger pan. So it doesn't take that much longer. So in under an hour, we managed to cook 2 weeks worth of lunches. So we saved 30 minutes a day. If you count that, that is at least 5 hours, let's say 4.5 hours or 4 hours. So in 2 weeks, just by using this very simple strategy of batch cooking our lunches, we saved 4 hours. That is 8 hours in a month. Can you imagine what you would do with an additional 8 hours a month? Now, don't just think about the 8 hours that you're saving because you're batching. Think about the time that you will save because you are planning your meal, so you don't need to stop for ingredients every other day. You can shop online. You can batch shop. You can ask someone else to do the shopping for you. For example, if you're married, or if you've got a partner, or if there's someone else you can team up with maybe to give you a hand. Maybe there's another mom who wants to do the same thing. So if you're batching your cooking, you're planning. If you're batching your shopping or you're buying online, you're not taking the kids with you to the supermarket, you don't need to decide every single day what you're going to cook. If you can actually cook when the kids are in bed, after they go to bed in the evening, or actually early in the morning, you can save so much more than these 8 hours that I've just outlined. This is real. This is something I've been through. I'm not just preaching from a soapbox, just telling you what you should do, because I've done this myself. So try this one batching tip. Try making 2 weeks worth of lunches. Try wraps. They're easy. In under an hour for 2 weeks. And I want you to get back to me, and I want you to tell me what an amazing change it's made to your life. So, a couple of tips to help you do this. If you'd rather not do wraps, there are some foods which are actually simple to batch cook as well. So the best kinds of foods to batch cook, to take with you for lunch, for work, are the types of foods that require no further work. What do I mean by this? So if you want to make it really fast, cook up something for which you don't need to add aside the day before or the evening before. For example, wraps are perfect because you've got the wrap, it's a meal in itself, and you're done. Pies are also a good example. You can make the pie, it's a full meal, you can freeze it, you can defrost it, you can make loads of different fillings. You can opt for a tortilla pie instead of a normal dough pie, if you prefer something lighter as well and quicker too. Quiches are a brilliant option. All of these ideas that I've mentioned can be vegetarian options as well if you don't eat meat maybe. And I've got a really good recipe as well for a broccoli cheddar quiche with a brown rice crust. It's on the blog, I believe, and I will double check this link, but I believe that the link is www.themamamanual.com/broccoli cheddar quiche. So that's www.themamamanual.com/broccoli cheddar quiche. I believe that that's the link. This is a great idea because instead of having a dough, you have a sort of dough, but it's made from brown rice. So you can also batch cook it, you can freeze it, it can be eaten cold as well, and you can change up the filling as you want. So there are also other things which you can batch cook, of course, but as I said, I would recommend that you batch cook things which require no further intervention and are a full meal on their own. But if you want to like cook in bulk, and these are especially great for lunchbox ideas for the kids, you can make patties. Patties are a wonderful idea. They freeze really nicely. You can make balls for smaller kids as well. They're fantastic for kids who are going through the weaning stage and they're starting to eat with their own little hands, because you can make small ones. And you can make any type of patty, vegetarian, fish, meat, like with potato, sweet potato, quinoa, anything you can set your mind to. Look up, there are some fantastic recipes on the internet. And as well, if you've downloaded my 100 recipe list, where I give you access to 100 hand-picked simple recipes, a lot of which you can batch cook and freeze, or you can pop into the slow cooker. There are a lot of recipes for, I'm not sure if there's a lot, but there are a few favorites for sure for cooking patties. So do check it out, go back to it. And there's one particular one. It is quinoa and cheddar. They cook beautifully. They freeze nicely as well. And Nina has eaten these since she was a baby. I make sure to make a lot of them, and I make sure to freeze most of them, because once they're cooked, they're gone. They're a family favorite. So if you want to pop in the comments and let me know what your favorite lunch is, so I can give you some advice on how to batch cook it, or how to make it simpler, or how to batch cook part of it, you're more than welcome. So just go ahead and do it. And also, if you've got the book, here's my book. On page 79, where I've got a few favorite recipes, I speak about lunches, and I have one of our favorite lunches, which is actually a quinoa salad, but it can, you can make a lot of different variations. So you can do it with quinoa, you can do it with any grain, and also you can mix up the base, the ingredients, so you can make it different every week. But it's very easy to make. My husband usually loves having this, so I make it for him, and I batch cook a week's worth of lunches for him. And of course, if you don't have the space to freeze maybe all of it, or if you don't want to freeze all of it, you can freeze part of it as well. Let's say you can make, let's say you're making, for example, chicken and veg. You can actually cook the chicken and the veg. You can freeze the filling, batch it or freeze it in separate bags, for example, one for every week. Take out one bag once a week, and like that you've maximized on freezer space and you've made the process faster every week. So there are ways and means to make the batching process much easier, even if you haven't got a lot of fridge space, or maybe you don't want to go the whole 9 yards, but you just want to batch cook just a little bit to help you do everything faster. Now, just one final thing before I get into the comments again. I want to talk to you about my latest free resource, which is my 100 recipes free download. I know that a lot of you have downloaded it. I know that a lot of you are trying the recipes as well, because I am getting a lot of messages on social media, and I am enjoying hearing what a positive experience it's been using my 100 recipes download for your meal planning. And I just want to explain, for those of you who haven't downloaded it yet, here's the link. It's www.themamamanual.com/100 recipes. www.themamamanual.com/100 recipes. So to give you a little bit of information, basically, this is a resource. It's basically a spreadsheet. It's a tool which I've come up with. I've handpicked 100 recipes which are easy. They're not complicated, they're straightforward, the ingredients can be sourced easily, there aren't a lot of ingredients, the method is fairly simple to follow, they're delicious, they are appealing, they are mostly very healthy. I mean, they're quite balanced is what I believe. Of course, healthy is kind of personal as well, but I believe that they are reasonably healthy. And what I've done is I've split them. Using this tool, you can actually choose if you'd like to find a recipe, which is a lunch recipe, a dinner recipe, a snack recipe, or a side dish recipe. So you can just go on, check the box of the meal type that you want, and then Besides just checking that box, you can also choose if you'd like something that can be frozen and batch cooked, or something that can be cooked in the slow cooker. And I've also got a couple of comments to help you do just that. And from there, you will get a fine-tuned list depending on what meal type you want, if you want to batch cook, if you want to freeze, if you want to slow cook, or if you're open to anything at all, together with my notes and the link for that particular recipe. So download it now, and I'll just go through how it works when you download this recipe, because I'm getting a lot of questions from moms who are already subscribed to my weekly emails, and shout out to all of you right now. I love connecting with you every week via email, so kisses to you moms who are on my list. And for those of you who are on the list and would like to download the resource, if you go into the link, you will be asked for your name and email. Now don't worry, if you're already subscribed, you will not get any additional emails from me. You will still need to enter your name and your email, and after you do, you will go to a page, to a thank you page, which gives you all of the instructions on how to proceed. Now basically, water. I've been talking a lot today. So, once you get to the thank you page, this page tells you that you will receive an email from me. And if you go to the email, you will need to click on confirm your subscription. Now, regardless of whether you are a subscriber or not, you still need to click this box. As I said, you won't get any more emails than you already do, but once you click it, this resource will open either in a new tab if you're on your laptop and you're already browsing online, or if you're on your mobile, the resource will open in your browser, so whether it's Chrome or Safari or Internet Explorer, it will open in your browser straight away. So that's what you should do to get my 100 recipes resource. And just to repeat the link again, it's www.themamaannual.com/100 recipes. I created this because I found that the biggest struggle for meal planning is that when you sit down to make a plan, you've got no idea what to cook. So this should make your life tens of times easier. So let's get into the comments quickly before I say my goodbyes. So Suzanne says, if you omit the cheddar, will it freeze well and can it be replaced by something else? So Suzanne, you can omit any ingredient that you want to make these wraps, and you can, yes, replace it by anything else. Cheese doesn't usually freeze very well. Not all of it, but it's not usually the best food to freeze. However, when it makes part of a recipe, it blends in and it's fine. But you can remove the cheddar, and of course you can add in anything else. Now, you can add in other types of cheeses, or if you don't want to add dairy, you can add in quinoa or another type of veg. Veggies and quinoa work beautifully. So unless there's something else which you'd like to ask, in which case please do ask, you can do one of those two instead. So Sephora says, regarding the list, can you replace coconut oil with something else, please? So Sephora, I'm assuming that you are referring to the 100 recipes list, and there's probably a recipe in there which calls for coconut oil. Now, coconut oil you can replace with another type of oil, most definitely. But if you'd like more specific details, just let me know exactly what you're after and I'll make sure to help you out. So Sarah, hi dear. You couldn't have explained my current situation better. I'm trying to take the bull by the horns by experimenting with batch cooking as a start. Also, on a totally different note, I signed up to a mindfulness course. Wow. Okay, so let's take this bit by bit. So, first of all, congratulations for trying to batch cook. You are already doing a great job by even having the intention to, let alone by trying. So I'm sure that you've already seen some progress, and I'm really proud of you for doing that. And secondly, mindfulness course. I've been, I don't actually practice mindfulness per se, but I do have a friend of mine who teaches mindfulness, Shout out to Catherine. She might be in here because I know that she's on my page and she watches my live sometimes as well. So shout out to you, Mama. And she inspires me to practice mindfulness. So good on you for taking that up, and send me a message and let me know how it goes because I'm really interested. And Daniela says, how is the better way? Which I went into the process that we follow now, which is much better. And this is me now with 2 kids. And yes, I must admit, once Nina came into the picture, it became harder. And that led me to making more of an effort, picking up more tips, learning more strategies, because I needed more time and I needed to be present even more so I can completely relate. And with 2 kids, yes, you need to do it even more, especially if they're close in age. Now my kids are 9 years apart, but still I felt the need to hone up on my skills and on my mindsets as well at that point in time. And Daniel also says, and me and my husband, we are always tired, and that's how we used to be as well. Of course, we're still tired sometimes, it's only natural. But when you're constantly chasing your tail and trying to keep up with life and not living your life the way that you'd like to, when you're just going from day to day and just going through the processes over and over, besides being physically tired, you're also mentally tired, and you've got no... You're not encouraged to do it all over again, because there is no reward at the end of the day. There's no reward at the end of the week. It's just doing it again and again. So yes, I can completely get you. And Danielle, I'd love to help out. So do let me know how I can. So freebies, blog posts, lives. Anyway, get in touch with me if you don't feel comfortable sharing here. I want to get a message from you, and I'll get right back to you as well. So hugs. And Antonella says, you're describing my life right now. Daniela sounds like me, and a lot of hellos. And Jessica says, I'm willing to learn more about cooking as I'm so exhausted with cooking and with food. Jessica, pay a lot of close attention to my blog posts, to my lives, to my emails. If you're not subscribed, I do suggest you subscribe, because this whole process of food, so starting from having the right recipes at hand, batch cooking, freezing, planning our meals, knowing what to cook when, the whole process from start to finish has been the backbone of this life-changing experience that we've had. So if you had to ask me, what is the number one way that your life has changed from this to this, I will say that it is this food journey. So this is why I've decided to share everything that I possibly can about this, because I think that 75%, if not more, of our transformation I can lend to how we manage our food routine, because food plays such a big part in our life. It takes up such a lot of time to cook and prepare food for 4 people or 3 or 2. But anyway, it's time consuming and it's draining, and you need good food to nourish yourself, to go about your day. So Jessica, please do watch closely, because I am going to be sharing a lot of valuable tips, and I am working on something which I've been working on since January, which is related to these food struggles. And I am going to promise transformation, because I'm going to teach the methods that I've learned and what got me from point A 10 years ago to point B and where I am today. So keep following me, keep watching, contact me, get in touch, don't be shy. And I hope that I will manage to help you change your life around so that you can be more relaxed and do more of the things that you'd like to do. Mums, I've had such a fantastic time speaking with you today. I think it's been my favorite life so far, because I feel like we've been physically sitting across each other and talking today. And I'm so glad I opened up to you, and I'm so happy that we can relate to each other. But it's time to say goodbye because time has flown and it's almost 5:30 and that front door will open at any time now, and my life would get really interesting if my kids and my husband were to come back home and find me chatting away with you. So I'm going to have to say goodbye. I'll just have to remind you to say hello, don't be a stranger, and just get in touch with me. I'd love to hear from you. So next week on Wednesday, I'm afraid there's no live because we're going on a short holiday. We're going on a holiday, actually it's not that short, but we're going on a holiday. We're having a break. It's well deserved. We haven't been on a family holiday for a little over a year now, and we're looking forward to it. So I'm afraid I won't be available to do my live. So that's why as well it was extra special today. But I will be back the week after, so in 2 weeks' time, I'll be here at the same time and the same place. Keep watching me on Instagram and follow my stories because I'm sharing a lot of invaluable tips over there. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching even though it's been a long one. Much love to you. I'm gonna miss you and I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye for now.